to run down what has been taking place in Turkey. And it's fascinating because, and I can't quite tell, and I've seen some personal emails written to some folks that are on an email list that I am too, but a part of that. To what extent the concerns within Turkey that their secular tradition was under threat plays into this. Apparently, this issue of the park known as Taksim Square, this is in Istanbul, and Gezi Park, which is part of that square. These plans were first announced in 2011. The idea was that they would tear down basically a lot of things in this square to create trees, old shops that have been there for literally hundreds of years, I think, in some instances, to house a shopping mall and condominiums. It would also destroy one of the few green spaces left in the city. It would obliterate the public character of Taksim Square. And there is some speculation that part of the agenda, if not, and less speculation, that one of the byproducts of this is that you're taking away one of the biggest public spaces where people meet, gather, exchange information, and communicate with each other. So over the past, well, I guess only 6 to 8 months or so, there have been growing protests as the size of this project and what it involves has grown. In March of 2013, the Emek Theater, which has been in operation since 1924, providing independent cinema, was demolished. In December, a pastry house, which has been in the same location for 70 years or so, 80 years, was destroyed. Back in early May, I guess this is as late as May 28th, 50 protesters were protecting trees in outer borders of the park. On May 29th, protesters were continuing their occupation of Gezi Park. Protesting the destruction of somewhere between 350,000 and 2 million trees. Depends on who you're talking to. And then apparently in the early morning hours of May 31st, only 4 days ago, police attacked now the protesters who had gathered, who had numbered in the thousands, who were gathering in Gezi Park and Taksim. The police are using indiscriminate use of tear gas. They're throwing canisters into hotels, cafes, into the metro station where people had taken refuge. By early morning of June 1st, thousands started to march from the Asian side of Istanbul to Taksim, crossing the Bosphorus Bridge on foot. And apparently what has happened, even though the government has done its best to sort of shut down media reporting of this, apparently CNN, the Turkish version of CNN, or CNN International, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, CNN Turk, was during the course of this incredible crackdown, CNN International was showing the protests. CNN Turk was showing a documentary about penguins. According to some reports, police have been attacking citizens with pepper gas, Agent Orange, which apparently has been banned, pressure water cannons, and they're using civilian police forces against the protesters. And apparently maybe using people who are sort of put in there to infiltrators to create more tension to justify their crackdowns. And this is ongoing at this point. And it's not quite clear what this mutates into in terms of conflating the sort of strong-arming by Erdogan, the prime minister. Am I pronouncing it wrong?
Erdogan.
Erdogan, the prime minister. Whether this is going to sort of mutate into a larger sort of secularist revolt, it's unclear.
It's also a leftist. It's a secular and a leftist thing, which are kind of, there's overlap, but there's differences.
Big overlap, I would imagine, though, right?
I mean, in some ways, because the traditional secularist parties, in some respects, were not very democratic. And so you had a thing where this party, Erdogan's party, which is a kind of right-leaning Islamic party, was actually much more democratizing when they first got into power. But that shifted too. So these different aspects of opposition seem like they're kind of coming together against the market policies of Erdogan and against the anti-secular policies of Erdogan too.
There you have it. We have a resident Turkey expert, right? How long did you live there?
Oh, just 7 months or so. Know a lot of
just 7 months.